And one issue that came up actually recently, Madam Vice President, is that you topped the Facebook ad spending with 14.1 million. And of course, critics have used this against you. Why you're spending a lot on Facebook? Your supporters have said these are actually paid for by volunteers, and your spokesperson said as much. But really, no centavos spent by your campaign on these ads?
Ako, from the official campaign, not that I'm aware of.
Mm-hmm.
Ang alam ko talaga, Mike, karamihan talaga dito mga volunteer groups. I understand why our volunteers feel the need to do that, because it has been clear over the past 5 years and going into the campaign na grabe talaga yung social media machinery ng kalaban. Ito nga sabi ko, totoo sigurong hindi nag-ads, pero maraming mga gastos na hindi over the table, hindi above board. Alam natin na marami silang ginagawa na gumagastos sila, pero hindi ito pareho ng Facebook ads na you can actually compute and quantify. So marami ding mga experts ang nagpo-point out na meron silang troll armies, merong yung machinery nila ay talagang involved in a massive disinformation campaign. So sa gitna ng ang daming fake news at panlalait, alam naman natin na isa ako sa mga nasa receiving end ng marami nito. Kaya marami talaga sa mga volunteer groups namin yung perception nila. Kailangan nila talagang tumulong. Actually, marami silang ginagawa ng mga fundraising activities na hindi naman yun napupunta sa amin. Wala kaming central repository ng lahat ng yung pondo na nanggagaling sa lahat-lahat ng mga fundraising efforts. But alam ko na our official campaign team is looking for ways on how we can have a mechanism na usundan ito. I think they have also been talking to the many different groups, informing them na pagpasok ng Feb 8 ay hindi na pwede. Hindi na pwede. Ang daming ginagawa na hindi namin alam kasi syempre mabibilang na yun for us.
And to what extent, Vice President, Madam Vice President, nagpa-factor yung mga fake news against you? Kasi ang dami lumalabas, no? Early on in your vice presidency, you have been called lugaw, you have been called fake vice president, and then later on, even now, as late as now, no, you have personalities who are actually spreading lies against you. How do you intend to deal with this? No?
Sa end ko, I admit that our initial approach to the problem did not work.
What was your initial approach?
Not to mind them. Ako parati ko sinasabi dati, Mike, na shrug them off, rise above them. Kasi hindi naman totoo, hindi naman yan. At the end of the day, what is true and what is good will be what will prevail. Pero mali ako eh. I did not even attempt to correct many of the fake news being said about me. Kasi lies repeated again and again become they become the truth. We have reported disinformation and fake news purveyors already before concerned agencies. Wala pa nangyayari doon. We are also hoping for better efforts from social media platforms. In fact, we have met with some of them before already, asking them what they are doing to combat what has been happening online. It's not easy. It's not easy kasi yung vehicle na ginamit for disinformation is social media. Because social media works on algorithms para na-saturate na talaga yung mga distribution channels such that mahirap nang i-penetrate. Mahirap i-penetrate yung mga bubbles na na-create. So ang nangyayari ngayon, parang nag-echo chamber na. Nag-echo chamber. So what we're doing now is really encourage all our volunteers to go out. To go out, not just depend on social media, but to actually reach out in their own circles and help us spread the truth. Kasi nga kung social media, una hindi naman namin sila kayang sabayan because they have an infrastructure for that. Yung sa amin, lahat naman organic lang.
But how do you feel though that some observers are saying, yung mga binabato sa inyo, for example, yung math problem, yung 4 times 40, and then yung use of the word nerve, and then lugaw, i-compare mo doon sa mga binabato sa Marcos family or kay BBM. For example, he has been called a tax convict, accused of lying, yung family niya accused of corruption, torture, killings, historical revisionism. Of course, there's that Taliano gold. Yet in the surveys, he figures higher. He polls higher, 53%, according to the Polls Asia survey in December. You are at 20%. So how do you feel about that? No?
Ako, I would have to admit that it has been so frustrating. So frustrating kasi halimbawa unang-una, maraming accusations ang hindi naman totoo. Yung halimbawa yung 4 times 40 is equal to 1,600. Ang dami pa ding ini-insist. Ang dami pa din nag-i-insist nung paraan nila, when in fact people I was with in that press conference can attest that we were talking about 4 times 10 times 40. Pero parang 'di ba, parang nakakapagod din na ine-explain mo pa.
Verifile said na based on its 2021 monitoring of election-related inaccurate stories, kayo daw ang number 1 top victim. And the most and the one who benefited the most is Bongbong Marcos. And yet when you talk to Bongbong Marcos supporters, some would say na ay iboboto ko si Bongbong because kawawa yung Marcos family, lagi silang inaatake sa media. What do you make of this? Yung efforts ba, for example, of filing cases to disqualify Bongbong or cancel his certificate of candidacy sa COMELEC, can we say na at some point nagba-backfire ba yun and parang nagiging kawawa yung Marcos family to galvanize support for them? Are you seeing that happening?
Ako, it can be either way kasi. It can be either way, Mike. Pero sa akin kasi, ako, I will be very honest with you na hindi ko siya, I am not allowing the cases to affect the way we are doing the campaign. Sa akin as a candidate, mas mabuting talunin ko siya sa election.
Mm-hmm.
Mas mabuting talunin ko siya sa election despite his numbers now. Pero ako malakas yung loob ko, Mike, kasi unang-una, tinalo ko na siya in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2016, I also started with very low numbers. Mas mabuti-buti na nga ngayon.
Mm-hmm.
Mas mabuti-buti na ngayon kasi in 2016, I was number 6 of 6 candidates.
Mm-hmm.
I had to, talagang literally igapang yung sarili ko paakyat. And I was able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So ang sinasabi ko lang na ngayon nga na mas marami yung mga volunteers na very invested, lalong yung possibility na kakayanin nandyan. Yung disqualification cases are stuff na outside of what we're fighting for. Meaning to say, kung meron siyang meron siyang kailangan panagutan niya yon. Pero labas yon sa laban namin ito. Kasi I want to be very focused on really correcting all the misinformation that they have been propagating and successfully pushing forward.
Mm-hmm. How do you intend to do that though? Historical revisionism, for example, how do you intend to counter that? And if I may just ask you, how about the myth of the Taliano gold?
Ako talaga yung number 1 sana, Mike, na sana yung mga kandidato i-submit yung sarili nila to debates. I-submit yung sarili nila to events or forums na may opportunity yung tao na i-confront sila about the many accusations against them. Kasi pag hindi mo ito i-confront, halimbawa yung Taliano gold, I think his lawyer was already confronted about that. And rather than say na it is true or it is not true, ang sasabihin hindi ko alam. Kung iiwas ka dahil mataas na yung numbers ko, hindi ko na kailangan sagutin yan, o hindi ko na kailangan mag-appear dito, lugi yung taong bayan.
Mm-hmm.
Lugi yung taong bayan kasi hindi siya nagkakaroon ng opportunity to confront.
Merong reports that 11 mayors supposedly from Camarines Sur have reportedly thrown their support behind Bongbong Marcos Jr. sa sarili mong bailiwick. Are you confident you will have the backing of your hometown and the Bicol region in 2022?
Yes. Noong 2016 when I was running for VP, halos walang malaking politiko dito sa Bicol region na nag-throw ng support for me. And I was expecting that. Pero there were 5 of us Bicolanos out of 6 candidates. Pero I still got almost 70% of the Bicolano vote. Ngayong laban na to, ako lang yung Bicolano. And pati yung suporta ng mga Bicolano now is unlike 2016. Nung 2016, mas mahiyain pa yung mga tao to go out. Pero now, yung galaw talaga, Mike, nanggagaling sa ordinaryong mamamayan. And they have been doing so much.
How about endorsements? Because you have received the endorsement of the cabinet secretaries of former President Fidel V. Ramos. You have celebrities supporting you also. How significant are these endorsements? And talk about endorsements, the fact that the left, the talks with the left and progressive groups have not actually prospered.
I am really grateful for the trust and support na ipinapahayag natin from sa atin, from local officials, public servants, different sectors. Actually, yung from local officials, Mike, a pleasant surprise yun sa akin. I know for a fact kung ano yung political environment sa atin now. And ako maiintindihan ko kung marami yung hindi willing to go out publicly to support us. Pero ako nagulat ako na there are actually big local politicians, very respected ones, who have been very public of their support for us. So I'm very, very grateful. Yun namang sa left, parati ko namang sinasabi na we are willing to work with those who share our values. Hindi man formal siguro ang alliance natin sa kasalukuyan. We are always willing to work with them on an issue-to-issue basis based on our shared values.
And one issue, Madam Vice President, that you received a lot of flack, yung issue ng position nyo in NTF-ELCAC. Have you clarified that with progressive groups or people from the left who were, voicing their dismay and criticizing you over actually that was a press statement, right?
Actually, many times over already. When I had a meeting with AFP, pareho naman yung pananaw namin na hindi ma-resolve yung issue of insurgency and terrorism pag hindi mo sinagot yung root cause of the problem. Agree ako sa whole of government approach. Agree ako on working with the local government units. It doesn't mean na agree ako dun sa red tagging. It doesn't mean na agree ako na ginagamit itong harassment tool. Of course, I do not expect everyone to share my view. Mm-hmm. Pero gusto ko lang i-clarify na I agree with the mandate. I agree with the objective. What I do not agree with is the manner by which they are operationalizing some of the things that they have been doing. And during my meeting with the AFP, I have been very vocal about the things I was not comfortable with.
Of course, in the elections, there's only one winner. But in case you lose, what's next for Vice President Leni Robredo?
Ako, Mike, alam mo, I was a development worker and an alternative lawyer for many, many years. I have just been a politician for close to 9 years. So para sa akin, it will not be difficult for me to go back to the life I was leading before my husband died and before I entered politics. That is working very, very closely with the margins. I will still continue with all my advocacy. Siguro nadagdagan lang ngayon, Mike. Before kasi yung advocacy ko is really empowering through legal education. Pero siguro ngayon, I will also be very heavily involved with education. That is education and governance. That is actually the main focus of the Jesse M. Robredo Foundation.
Lastly, Vice President, what's at stake at May 2022 polls? I mean, how important is it that we elect the right leader for the next 6 years in the Philippines, given where we are now?
Kasi Mike, the 2022 elections is not just a fight between 2 or more candidates, but it's actually a decision that we have to make. Ano bang klaseng politika yung gusto nating manaig sa atin? Ano bang klase ng governance yung gusto nating manaig sa atin? Kasi what I'm offering is so, for example lang to, what I'm offering is so different from what Mr. Marcos is offering. Yung the kind of politics, ako para sa akin mas transformative. Ayoko ng patronage politics. Sa akin yung gusto kong politika na yung politika hindi siya masama. So para sa akin, there is so much at stake. Pero what is at stake is not just my winning or my losing these elections, but what is the direction that we would want our government to take in the next 6 years?
Our interview with Vice President Leni Robredo. And just a clarification, we started with a question on her take on the no vaccination, no ride policy of the Department of Transportation.